This is playful. I love the Mantis for that reason.
They could call it the Gazelle.
The Gazelle, yeah, that looks like a gazelle motion right there.
What's up guys, Jimmy Chang here with Andrew, and today we are going to unbox what some people are calling the best Mantis scooter ever. We'll see if that's true. Andrew, what can we expect from this scooter?
Yeah, we have the Mantis V2 here from Fluid Freeride. It's one of the best selling scooters out in the past 3 years, but they've improved suspension, they've improved lights.
Let's go ahead and get started. Before we unbox though, check out this box. You can see here, it's pretty busted up.
Yeah, I was really surprised that it didn't get torn on this side. I think the scooter itself will be fine, but we'll find out as soon as we open it up.
All right, let's get started.
They have improved suspension on the Mantis. On previous Mantises, when you'd go to accelerate or brake, you'd feel the stem rock back and forth. And it wasn't the stem causing issues, it was actually the soft suspension that you would feel when you'd go to stop. It would push you forward. So this should be improved on this new Mantis. We've got a brand new fender. They have improved on the rear fender and added a second piece to it. The website says it's 65 pounds, but it does say the V2 has no information out right now. So we're not exactly sure how much this scooter weighs, but I would assume it's probably gonna be 67, 68 pounds because the 18.2 amp hour version says it's 65 pounds. They put the LT01 display, also known as a QSS4 display. This is paired with the sine wave controllers, so it should be smoother than the Minimotors i3 display that we've seen on other previous Kaabo Mantis scooters.
So this little screw here, we've had problems with in the past on prior Mantis models, and it's basically there to help you to adjust how tight the stem is once it's locked. And it's kind of like playing Goldilocks in the Three Bears, because you don't want it out too far and you don't want it in too far. You just want it just right, because once you have it just right, then your stem will be rock solid. And in this box we have the charger, 1.75 amps.
Kaabo scooters used to come with a 2 amp charger. They've started changing it to a 1.75 amp charger. It's pretty similar to what Minimotors has been doing in the past. They're just trying to reduce the charge amount. The slower you charge the battery, the better for battery health. With this being 24.5 amp hours divided by 1.75 amps charging, it should take you 14 hours to charge this, where the previous version was 12.5 hours if this was a 2 amp charger.
You can buy an upgraded fast charger. Sometimes you just need to be able to charge your scooter, you know, and not have to wait all night. Now that we have the scooter fully assembled, let's do a quick walkthrough.
Yeah, let's start out with this cockpit. Right next to this throttle display, you have these 2 buttons, which were the exact same as the previous version, except for they've added a light to them. This light gives you the feedback, so you know if you're in eco or turbo mode, and you know if you're in single or dual motor mode. On the previous models, you couldn't tell. You pretty much just had to press it in and feel it. I like that they've added light so you do know what setting you're in. Moving over to the left side of the cockpit, we have the light button, and you have turn signals that have been added to the Kaabo Mantis Pro. Right here, we have a pretty loud electric horn. Wow.
So one of the reasons why this horn is louder is because the horn is built into the light and the little speakers directed right towards you. But it is a loud horn. The light is higher mounted, which gives you better visibility. The light itself is not the brightest, but I do like the fact that it's higher up. In the past, these Mantis scooters have just relied on these low-level deck lights for their lighting, and that just wasn't cutting it. They still have those there. It's great for visibility to be seen, but to help you see as a rider, having it higher mounted is much better.
This is the same folding mechanism that they improved on because they were having issues in the past with it. So this is pretty rock solid. There's no stem movement at all. The biggest difference that they've done down here is they've improved the suspension. It's going to be a lot more stiff, not quite as soft. The soft was really playful if you're hitting like small rollers, but it just caused issues when you went to accelerate. It'd pull you back, and when you go to stop, it'd push you forward. So I do like that they've improved the suspension on this Mantis. Down here you have a 160mm brake disc with Zoom hydraulic brakes. They are branded as Kaabo, and you have a 10-inch by 2.5-inch street tire. So the turn signal is on the front and also on the rear. One thing that they did improve on this deck that we've complained about in the past, they've glued down the deck, which it's a little bit painful if you ever have to pull up the bolts and take off the deck itself, but it's much better than this just flapping around, because this thing flaps around, it gets ripped. I do like that they've taped this thing down. Silicone decks are nice because they're easy to clean, but they are painful because they get dirty quickly. If you just see here, There you go. One of the biggest features that they've improved on back here is they've added the second fender, which is more like a tire hugger. This is gonna prevent water from splashing up at you. The previous Mantis was awful. You'd always have stuff up the back of your shirt. So I do like that they've added the second piece. Then going back here again, you have another 10" by 2.5" tire. And this is a 1,000-watt motor. So this is a dual 1,000-watt motor scooter. It was already a great selling scooter. They've just made it better.
Let's see how heavy it is. So I'll get on first. Okay, 171.6. Here we go.
240.
Exact.
So 240 minus 171.6, 68.4. Let's go ahead and get the tires filled on this thing and let's take it out for a test ride.
All right, let's do it. All right, so first ride on the Mantis V2. Andrew, what are your initial thoughts?
It's quiet. Minimotors controllers and displays, you can just hear them wind up, where this one is ultra quiet. I can barely hear it at all. It's just really smooth. The suspension on this scooter is nice and stiff. It's much better than previous models. The old softer suspension was nice and playful, which this is still playful, but having stiffer suspension makes it safer at higher speeds. It makes it safer when you're going to stop because you don't have that front flex as much. So I really love this new suspension that they've improved on the Mantis V2.
All right, now it's my turn to give it a spin. This is way smoother than the other Kaabo Mantises that we've tried. All right, one of the cool things about having such a nimble scooter, yet powerful scooter, is if you run into obstacles like this poop here, instead of having to go around or go through, you can go over. Woo! All right, the other day we didn't have the battery fully charged for a proper speed test. We took it home. It's fully charged now, ready to go for a speed run. But speaking of batteries, let's talk about the batteries on these things because they come in two flavors, a big battery and a little battery. And deciding which battery to get, which scooter to get, it's a pretty important decision.
The 24.5 amp hour version of the Mantis comes with LG or Samsung battery cells. The smaller version, that's the 18.2 amp hour, comes with DMEGC battery cells. They're Chinese battery cells. Most of the time they're going to be fine, but Chinese battery cells do have a higher failure rate. They have more battery degradation as well.
I would go with the bigger battery because not only do you have less worries about range anxiety, you also have the comfort of mind knowing that you have the best batteries possible. We have the bigger battery, we have a clear road. Let's do a speed run. How was it?
Smooth, but it's a little bit slower than the Minimotors version. I was only able to max it out at 38 miles per hour, and the acceleration curve is definitely not as aggressive as a Minimotors controllers or display.
In general, Mantis scooters can come with a Minimotors controller like Andrew said, which is going to be not as smooth, but it sounds like you can get a higher top speed, or you can get it in a sine wave controller like this, which delivers the speed and the power much more smooth.
It's not that rip your arms out of the socket acceleration, but that does impact the top speed and also the acceleration speed. The acceleration curve from 0 to 10 miles per hour was 1.31 seconds. 0 to 20 miles per hour was 3.49 seconds. 0 to 30 miles per hour was 7.28 seconds. I've been able to go up to 40 miles per hour on the previous Minimotors version. This one went up to 38 miles per hour, 0 to 38 in 14.15 seconds. Zoom brakes really grip hard. I do like nut brakes a little bit better, but you're never gonna have stopping power issues with Zoom brakes.
This is my favorite Mantis scooter. We've tried a lot of Mantis scooters. The sine wave controller makes a huge difference. The fact that I'm not feeling like it's gonna rip my arms off, it just feels so smooth, so comfortable. I love the higher mounted light for night riding. The screen here, it's just too hard to see what's going on during the day in sunny conditions. Okay, Andrew, what are your initial impressions?
Man, I love sine wave controllers on this scooter, and I love the stiff suspension. Two of the things that I thought were kind of lacking on the previous model of the Mantises. I like that they've introduced an IPX5 water resistance rating. It was already an awesome scooter, and they've made it even better.
Small, nimble, powerful, playful. Thanks for watching, and remember, when you guys ride, wear your safety gear.